Hello, this is Scott. Welcome back. Today we're talking about automatic document classification and using Statistica. This is part of a series I'm doing on Statistica, and the 40 series is going to be about text analytics. So today what I'm going to talk about is automatic document classification. And so the database that I'm going to be using is from Reuters. And Reuters has 22,000 documents available in a database made available. And I have a sample of 5,000 of those documents. And what I'm going to show is the ability to stem and create structured information from these unstructured documents. And these are XML documents right now, and I'll show you that in just a second. I just wanted to let you know the files that I have. Each one of these documents was gone through by an expert and determined whether it was an earnings report or not an earnings report. And so we'll see a spreadsheet in just a second that shows that 0-1 value, whether it was or was not. Also, this is available in my friend Gary Miner's book, et al. And so you can get a copy of that, and it's available by default in your Statistica examples data sets, and I'll show you where that is. All right, so let me minimize this and go in and show you. First, let me show you that there are 5,000 of these. Let me show you what a document looks like, and I'm going to be loading up an index file for all of these files here. And if you look at an individual document, it looks like this. This is an XML document. You can see the XML tags right at the very top, and then a bunch of free text. This is what a raw document would look like. And our goal is to determine whether this document is an earnings report or a non-earnings report. So obviously you can have humans go in and evaluate every single document, or you can have an automatic document classification machine to go in and do this for us. And we have that machine, and we call it Statistica. And let me show you where I'm going to find this, excuse me. So I'm going to go to Open Examples, and then data sets. We've been using data sets quite a bit. For this particular activity, we're going to go into this text miner folder, and they're the 5,000 documents that I just showed you on my Windows machine, right? And at the very end, if I go to the very end, there's a spreadsheet called Reuters.sta. So if I pull that up, this is the index file. These are just the file names, right? And this is where an expert has gone through and determined whether it's an earnings report or non-earnings report. And this is a designation we can use for machine learning. See my other videos, and actually in the next part 2 of this series, we'll be going and using the information that we collect today and doing it as simple trees for that. So that's available in a video that'll be out short. I shouldn't say available. I haven't made it, but I will. So this is what the document, the index document looks like, and it refers again to those 5,000 documents that we just saw. So in text analytics, where do I find it in Statistica? If you go to this data mining tab here, and you do text mining. By the way, this web crawling is something that's kind of interesting that you can use to crawl across a machine, a directory, a hard drive, etc. I'll do something in the future on that. And this, you can see that this web crawling will produce a file that kind of looks like this, where it produces the output of all the file names in a given directory, or even file structure, a tree structure. But today we want to go to this text mining tab right here, and then we're going to select files. This is on the main tab here, and I'm going to use paths in a spreadsheet because I have file names, and then I'll go document paths, and then I'll go to file name. All right, so I'm going to click OK on that. And what we're going to do is we are going to use Statistica to open up all 5,000 files and stem them. And once we get those, I'll show you that in a little bit more, a little more granularity, in just a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this minimum to 3. Just because what this does is it says reduce the vocabulary of index words. So if a word doesn't occur at least 3 times, then I'm going to not include it, right? So very, very infrequent words, I'm not going to include. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Words tab here, and I'm going to make sure that this is checked. If I select my dictionary, these are stop words. These are words basically that are discarded or excluded from the indexing. So we don't want words like the or and simple, to and from, etc. But Statistica allows you to adjust these. So actually I can go in and I can set all my different dictionaries. And I'm going to use the dictionary stop list. These documents are in English, but you saw there, I guess one of the things that I wanted to show you is that we offer a variety of different languages within the platform. And then the other things that I could do is I could do word combinations and synonyms and inclusion words. I can have multiple dictionaries that perform different functions. And we'll cover some of those in a later video, but for right now, let's just do an index. All right, so this warns me that I've already got a project and I'm about to override it. And so I'll just click yes, go ahead. And you can see on the bottom here, actually it just parsed. All right, so think about that. It just went through 5,000 documents, opened up every single one individually, and it created a list of word stems and phrases for me to use for document classification. That was pretty fast, and I'm on a laptop running this. So the first thing that I can see right up here at the top is that there were 5,000 documents. Out of that corpus, 353 met my criteria that weren't in the stop list dictionary or weren't, that occurred at least 3 times, and then 15,000 words didn't meet my criteria. So basically, it filtered out a bunch of the trash from this. We'll talk about this document frequency later. I'm just going to use the raw frequency, which is the stem, the full unweighted version of these words. And you can kind of get an idea of some of those different words that are there, accord, et cetera, et cetera. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to append these words that it found back to this spreadsheet. So how do I do that? I'm going to go to the Save Results tab, and I'm going to add since there were 353 words, I'm going to add 353 variables. And it says that they were successfully added. So if I look at this spreadsheet now, there are all my blank variable names. And then what I want to do is I want to write back those these words in the top of those variables, and then we'll look at the frequencies for each document that includes those. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this Assign Write Back. So I'm going to select all of my columns, which are the words that I just created with my stemming process, and I'm going to map them to these new variables, and I'm going to click Assign. And what that's going to do is it assigned every variable name, or it will, that I included to this blank variable that I just created. So let me click OK and do that. and you can see Statistica is working now, and it's assigning all of those new names to the sheet. So it's taking the information that was created in the stemming assignment algorithm, and now we're creating a spreadsheet out of it. And let me pause this. So I just saved the spreadsheet off onto my local drive. So now I've got a copy of this. And so if we look at this, let's take a little deeper look at what we've done so far. We started out with the original document, and now I can see frequencies for every word, every document. So let's say acquisition. All right, so this is a stem for acquisition. It occurs 3 times in this document number 12. Oops, document number 12. It occurs twice in 18, 2 times in 25, etc. And then all of the nulls essentially are where the words don't occur. And then we can see co-occurrences of certain words. This is a co-occurrence of the word administrative, administratively, administrative. So again, these are stems. So anything with acquisition, or we can even have synonyms, so that it could be acquiring, etc. We can merge words together. There's lots of power, lots of flexibility, customization. This could be administration. This could be administrating. This could be administers. Anything that joins together for that root meaning. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to stop right there. I think this will conclude part 1 of this series on text document classification, and in part 2 we'll actually use the stems that we just created within Statistica, and we'll build a simple model to determine, remember our original intent was to determine whether these documents are classification. So I'm going to use these as predictive variables, these stems, and I'm going to predict whether this is an earnings topic or not. So please join me next time. I look forward to seeing you there.